All right. Thanks everyone so much for joining. I'm going to share my screen quickly so you can see some of our lovely panelists and everything that is going on. All right, perfect. Thank you. Welcome. I am Danielle Jefferson. This is a panel on how to make more money in 2021 as hosted by myself and attended by my three lovely panelists who we'll go into in a little bit more detail in a second. But really why we're here is we wanted to talk about how these amazing women were able to do incredible things in 2020 and how you can do it too. So I am so excited, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself, and then we're going to move into the main event. So for those of you I haven't met before, I am Danielle. I am the owner of Jefferson James Consulting and a self-proclaimed process ninja. That is because I have a background in Six Sigma and process improvement. I spent a small lifetime in a corporate career and then decided, hey, that's not what I want to do anymore. I really want to take my skill set and start helping small businesses where it can be most impactful and they really need it the most. So I really started this to serve those small businesses who are either just getting started, growing, or they're just in the place to take like a giant leap to the next level. This is where I find I can really have the most impact on the process and the operations behind the business, so that when they're at that point, we can really help them, move to that next level. All right, let's get into it with our amazing panelists. So I'm going to intro, and then I'm going to ask each of you to tack on and elaborate on yourselves a little bit more. So first up, we have Lauren Ansley of Lauren Ansley Comedy Productions. Lauren is a comedian, which is amazing. She is also moving into production, so producing shows. She reps talent to source in her shows, and she does this specializing in virtual, corporate, and in-person events. And so, Lauren, I will turn it over to you to tell a little bit more about your business and yourself.
Thanks so much, Danielle. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because this isn't plugged into anything. Hi. So thank you so much for having me. Yeah, just like Danielle said, I am an entertainer, also moving into training offerings this 2021. Excited to be here. And that's what I do. I try to make virtual connections for entertainment and training because we can all use a laugh now, maybe more than ever. And I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thanks, Lauren. Glad to have you. We have another Lauren. We're never at a shortage of Laurens in our little group. Lauren Widrick, who owns Lauren Widrick Coaching. She is a business coach who does business startups and sales coaching. And she is my business coach, and she's amazing. And I'm just so thankful that I found her. She really specializes in helping people disrupt and expand their businesses and their lives. So Lauren, tell us more.
I think that was it. That was perfect. Yeah, so that part at the end is more important than the part at the beginning. Disrupting your life and expanding what you're capable of is really my passion. And the vehicle that I've chosen for the last few years is business. So for a lot of people that I work with, they are in the position that Danielle just described, or I was in investment banking, where it's a good on paper job and we have these skills, but we don't get to deploy them in a way that's cool and feels good to us. And so I help people actually make that disruption. So you're really good at process. You're kind of sick of doing it for a Fortune 500 company. Well, how do you get from A to B? How do you start a business? How do you begin your exit? How do you replace your income? How do you make an LLC? What's marketing? Like all those questions that hold us back, I can help you tactically answer those. But more than anything, I just give you the swagger to freaking do it. So that's what I'm up to. Danielle has changed my business and my life. I can't wait to tell you more about that. But thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. And then Sarah Young is rounding out our badass panel. Sarah is a virtual CFO and CPA for small businesses. Sarah, tell us more about exactly what you do.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. So I'm a CPA, but we do so much more than tax returns. We provide primarily monthly accounting services for small business owners who want to do more than just check the box. They want to use their numbers to, achieve their goals. And we're expanding into virtual CFO services where I'm going to get way more into the details of your business and help you achieve your strategies so that you can get way more profitable.
Love it. I want to be using you. Everybody should. All right. Thank you so much. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now so you guys can see all of my amazing panelists full screen. And I am going to start really by, let me lay some ground rules first. So I want this to be, this is the week after Christmas. This is a celebratory thing, right? So like, we're not here to train you or to really like say, here's exactly how you're going to make more money. Like, I want you to hear how these amazing women did this in the crazy year of 2020 that it was, so that you can, you know, take these things and learn from them. So at any point, please use the chat if you want to congratulate them on what they're saying. If you want to ask them a clarifying question, let's be interactive. Also, if you want to introduce yourself to other people on the call, you may put in your information here and just connect with each other. So like, this does not need to be, you know, formal by any means. We will, you know, have a little bit of a structure because it wouldn't be a process if it wasn't, right? But we'll have some Q&A at the end for more formalized questions, but just feel free to let us know what you want to talk about. All right. Love that, Lauren. Thank you. Okay. So in true process fashion, I'm going to go around in a round table order in alphabetical order, starting with Lauren Ansley. So let's start with a little, where did you start and how's it going now? So tell us, Lauren, how you started the year and now where are you?
Oh, I started the year with hope. Ended the year also with hope. So what a year it's been. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey. So a little bit about me. I actually quit my job and sold my house last fall to pursue live comedy shows and comedy show production. And then in March, all of my shows were canceled. This was my very first global pandemic I've ever been in. Was not prepared for it. So I made the pivot to offering virtual entertainment and then virtual comedy for companies, and then booked and hosted 25 holiday parties in December. So major pivot. So it came in, it was cool. January was okay. You know, I'm still figuring this out. I gave myself a 12-month runway with the sale of my house. And then I was like, oh crap, what is happening? So did a total pivot, switched. I never thought virtual events would work, but I actually love them. And I just want you to know the chat is open for those congratulations, just so you didn't know. But it's ended with hope because I exhausted all of my income. I basically was paying myself for a year. And then December was the first time I actually turned a profit, and I'm adding in training next year. So oh, thank you, Brittany. Oh, I was getting a little nervous. Thanks, Elizabeth. So it's been great. And I'm assuming a lot of you are probably entrepreneurs or thinking about it, or maybe just trying to take your own job to the next level. And I cannot say, I know that this is not, Daniel didn't ask me for this, but I could not have done this without you. I actually did enroll in Lauren Widrick's Sales Swagger course, and we just rounded out our 6 months. Thanks, Jessica. Oh, Jessica's here. We're meeting tomorrow. Hi. Okay, focus. And it's been really, really good. So I connected with Lauren, I connected with Danielle, I connected with Brittany, who was in the chat, and it's truly through help of other people, because if you're in this as a solopreneur like me, you're really not on your own. It takes a village, right? For business as well as for kids, I've been told. I don't know, but did that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, let's bottom line that. So you started the year with a completely different business model.
Total pivot, yeah.
And you completely had to like strip it down, completely pivot, and you ended the year making a shit ton of money. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right?
It's actually affording me to launch the training into next year. We just met earlier today, Danielle and I did, to prepare what that looks like. But yes, if it's weird to say, but if this hadn't happened, my business wouldn't look like it does right now. So it's I guess, making the best out of an awful situation. But with challenges come opportunities. So, yeah.
Thank you. I love that. Congratulations.
You can put that in the chat too, Danielle, please feel free.
Lauren Whitrick, how about you? Where
Hey,
did it
guys.
start? How's it going now?
Okay, where do I even begin? So I started this business, this coaching business in 2016. I did as a side hustle for 2.5 years. In June of 2018, I leapt out. So 2019 was my first full year in business as a solopreneur. So when I started 2020, it was good. I was making enough to pay my bills, but it was kind of a shit show, to be honest with you. I didn't know what I was doing or who I was working with. So I looked back, Danielle, at my January P&L and like, who was I working with back in January? Everybody. I was working with corporations, executives, people who wanted help with their lives, little groups. Like it was a lot of randomness. And technically all those dollars added up to pay my bills, but it was a very like clunky way to do business. And so between January and when did we come together, Danielle? Like April, May? I was operating like that. And I met Danielle because she came into one of my coaching programs. You know, I'm a business coach. I help people start their businesses. I helped Danielle start her business. But after like 5 minutes of knowing Danielle, I was like, oh, I need her maybe more than she needs me. And so I hired her back. So we passed the baton. I helped her. Now she's helping me grow. And the first thing we did, Danielle, if you recall, she was like, what is your business? I'm like, I don't know. It's a lot of randomness. So we unpacked the whole damn thing and wrote down all of the processes, which as a visionary, creative entrepreneur, I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to. But we did. We spent like, what, 6 weeks on this or 8 weeks?
Yeah.
Good, healthy amount of time being like, what do you do? And half the time I was like, I don't know. I don't have a process for this. I do it differently every time. And sometimes she would be like, why do you do this thing at all? I'm like, I don't know. And so that 6 or 8 weeks changed everything because I was intentional about my business for the first time. Instead of day to day, week to week being like, what do I need to do right now in this exact moment? It was like, hold up, how do I need to do things from here forward? So we played marry, shag, kill. Some of the processes we married, some we shagged and made them sexier, and then some we killed because they were stupid. And I didn't realize that because I didn't have fresh eyes on it. So from that point on in the summer and beyond, my business is totally different. I am streamlined down to 2 core products. All my marketing and sales efforts are like streamlined around these 2 core products.
Okay, next question, ladies. This one goes to me. The next question that we're all going to answer is, what was your biggest success and how did our work together contribute to that? So my biggest success was December. Like I mentioned, I gave myself a 12-month runway starting with last September. I stretched that. I managed to have a self-sufficient business. So I actually wasn't having to put any money in after the summer. I was still before then. And then the summer started becoming self-sufficient. I still wasn't taking any money myself, but then December is when my house income has been exhausted. And I had such an amazing month in December that I was able to continue now, have a runway into January. So my biggest success was, okay. I've got 2. I'm just going to go ahead and make the executive decision. I have 2. The first one is that I have the December month that could, launched my business essentially into a business where I can actually pay myself. Second thing is I was able, thanks to working with Danielle, I was able to revamp and, like Lauren Whitrick said, really streamline my processes. And I was able to submit a proposal that was $20,000 in 15 minutes, whereas that would have normally taken over an hour. Any proposal actually would have taken me over an hour, but I was able to do it in a 15-minute break between meetings. And by the end of my next meeting, I had secured $20,000 in business. So that is significant. That's amazing. And then I just got a 5-star Google review from that client on Google My Business on my Google page. So incredible. And I think the biggest benefit for me from working with Danielle is she gives me I always liked working with a manager. I never actually wanted to own my own business. I've not wanted to manage other people. Now, like I work with contractors and that's great because it's like a relationship. It's not me managing them so much, but I never wanted to own my own business. So I was always looking for permission. And Danielle can help you give yourself permission of this form is where it needs to be. She can give you kind of a starting point. She can streamline it, and then you can say, you're done. Stop perfecting it. It's over. It's done. Send it. It's good. And so she can kind of give you that extra guidance too, which is very valuable. So that would be my answer to the question. And we'll go to Lauren Widrick. The question again is, what was your biggest success and how did our work together, you and Danielle's work together, contribute to that?
I'm so glad we have a professional running the room here. Thank you, Lauren. This is awesome. I'm texting Danielle on the side. She's naturally freaking out. I'm like, we got this. Your village has you. So that's exactly what's happening here. Okay. I think I'm supposed to tell you my biggest success was the amount of money I made, and it was more than I've ever made before, but that's actually not it. She helped me begin to build a scalable business. And that's a term that gets thrown around a lot. And I even throw that shit around as a business coach all the time. Scale, scale, scale. But for real, we're scaling. She's helped me build programs that could fit 12 people or 120 people and still deliver the same quality of service. So what that means is I get to amplify my message and my gift. More people who are stuck in corporate jobs and want to get out can come in because we've created a technology platform, a repeatable training deck. Like all of the tools are there so that I can serve 10x the number of people. That's really exciting to me. The most important thing she's done for me is give me freedom in my life. So look, when I was talking about being that frazzled solopreneur wearing 12 hats, you can operate like that forever. You can have a 6-figure business like that forever. You can make 120K. I have a $10,000 a month, but you can be killing yourself because you're undercharging, you're working with too many people. Here's like a very tactical example. When we first came together, she looked at my calendar and again, she's like, what is this? I had mostly private clients. So it was like a client at 8 and then a client at 10 and then a client at 1 and then a client at 4. And she was like, why did you organize your day like that? And I said, well, that's when they were available to meet with me. And she said, do you know how many dead freaking hours you have between those 4 clients? You've wasted half a day on deadness. And I was like, oh my God, like I have many talents. This isn't one. So she pointed this out to me and gave me huge blocks of time back. So now my calendar, this sounds so simple, but like having a streamlined calendar means I have whole mornings to work without interruption, whole afternoons to focus on sales without interruption, whole Fridays to work on longer term initiatives. When you put it that way, it's almost too simple to be, why couldn't I have seen that myself? But I couldn't because I'm in the weeds of my business. So yeah, she helped me get the revenue. Yeah, she helped me amplify my message and serve more clients in less time. But she gave me freedom and relaxation. That impacts my husband. That impacts my kids. That impacts my sleep. Like that's probably the biggest success that I can owe to having a COO and a friend and a confidant like Danielle. And how did she help me get there? She asks me questions that I don't want to be asked. And sometimes we are like this a little bit because she'll say, why are you doing it that way? And the natural, it's my baby. I built it, right? Are you calling my baby ugly? And she's like, your baby's not ugly. I'm just asking why you put it in that outfit. Is that the right outfit for the baby? And I'm like, good question. So she asks me even yesterday in our meeting, I was talking about my next, she wanted to know about my next launch in Q2 and Q3 of 2021. And I was like, girl, I can't even talk about that yet. And she goes, well, we have to, because, planning needs to start late January, 2021. And I was like, oh shit, you're right. You're absolutely correct. I would have messed that up. And so she asks me all the questions that I don't know how to ask myself, maybe don't want to ask myself, but are necessary to actually run this thing like a CEO instead of like that frazzled fly by the seat of my pants solopreneur. I think that's my answer in a nutshell.
That's powerful. The scalability is huge. That's huge because if you are just selling your time is limited. You literally only have 24/7. That's all you have. So if you're able to scale it and streamline it, that's amazing.
Yeah. And like, I don't want to work on the tech platform. I don't want to get into those details, but without doing that work, I can't scale. I'm in my own way. So she helps me get out of my own way, which is very, very necessary for a visionary entrepreneur.
Yes. And make the processes repeatable in shorter time or automated to save you time. Yeah. Love it. All right, Sarah, now we're to you. The question was, what was your biggest success and how did your work with Danielle contribute to that?
Yeah, well, I think my biggest success, like I said before, was just being able to hire not 1, but 2 employees. Like that's a really scary thing as a business owner to think I've got these 2 people plus me and my family relying on me, it's terrifying. And I was procrastinating it when I met her, but I probably should have done it months before. But I'm actually also going to echo what Lauren W. said about just like helping me not be stressed out and overwhelmed, because I quit my corporate job because it really bothered me thinking about all the time and effort and stress I was putting into my corporate job and like serving the shareholders of this company that I don't know. And I just really didn't want to do that. And I wanted to be able to spend time with my kid and my family. And I just found myself very quickly over the summer and into the fall being stressed out and overwhelmed all the time. So, it was like, this is just not sustainable. So in order to be able to hire employees, we had to basically go through the same process, right? We started with my calendar. I was doing the same thing. My calendar, I did use Calendly, and I did have multiple different types of meetings set up, but I used to just allow people free reign to my whole week. And so I would have just meetings scattered throughout my calendar. And I'm very introverted. So after all these meetings, I would not want to do much of anything. Like, I'm just exhausted. So she helped me sort of condense all of those meeting times into certain days of the week, which I always thought people would complain about not being able to book a time whenever they wanted to. Like, turns out they're actually okay with it. I've not had a single person like come to me and complain about it. So we did that first off. So that was like a really quick win. And then just being able to hire somebody, right, was due to having the retainer business model. So instead of working hourly, so if you're working hourly, you're only going to like bill so much money because there's only so many hours in the day. So switching to the retainer model allowed me to have a more recurring, predictable revenue stream, to where I felt comfortable saying, okay, I know I have this many clients and I'm going to have them for the next however many months. So I'm going to be able to hire these people and pay them this much money. So then that enabled me to get out of the weeds all the time, right? So then I'm not stressed out and overwhelmed, and I can focus on doing what I do best, which is the onboarding and the financial systems and getting everybody set up, talking to them about how do you pay yourself, how do you become more profitable, and like getting really tactical with these things. Whereas I can then hand off the like day-to-day stuff, to my part-time bookkeepers now, which is amazing. So that will enable me for next year, and I won't answer this question yet, that's the next question, but it will enable me next year to focus more on this high-level stuff. So I think hiring employees and then not feeling so overwhelmed all the time has been amazing.
That's huge. That's huge. Because that gives you more time to work on your business instead of in your business.
Yes. And I forgot to add too, she looked at me and she was like, similar question, why do you do things the way you do? Like, what is your process? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think I have a process. She's like, well, you do have a process. It's just probably a really crappy one. Oh, look, there she is. Yay. Oh no, she's gone again.
There you are. Hey, Danielle.
Oh, there you are.
Sorry. Keep going. Don't let me interrupt.
We've been having a lot of fun here. So, what was I saying? I totally got excited because I saw Danielle's
Working
face again.
on your business instead of in your business.
Yeah. Yeah. But I had so much as a solopreneur, you have everything living in your head, and it's really hard to see from somebody else's perspective. So it was really nice to have, Danielle come in and just ask these questions and say like, these are all the things that if I'm going to hire somebody, I have to get it down and like out of my head so that they can come in and just run with it, as opposed to me spending the same amount of time trying to like walk, hold their hands through it. So, yeah.
Well, with that, I would like to welcome back Danielle Jefferson. We have answered the first few questions of the roundtable. So that completes the second question. And now we're at our third question.
Thank you for hosting my event, Lauren. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Sorry, guys, my like entire internet in my house just shut down. So this is how we're rounding out 2020. It is very on brand for 2020.
Yes.
So my last question is, what are you doing next? So you have really come so far, all of you, in this year. And what are you focusing on next? Like, what is the next big leap with your business?
So I first want to say, how cool is it that Danielle was so organized that this just kept going on without falling apart, even though your internet conked out because you're so
you.
prepared.
Yeah.
So
Proof.
that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Proof
I
that
So
planned
Danielle
this.
helped.
This was actually planned. So yeah.
that just goes to show how well Danielle prepares everyone that she works with. So kudos to you.
Thanks.
So how am I going to keep going in 2021? Well, I'm very excited that I've launched the entertainment portion of my business. I'm actually all corporate now. I started off partnering with breweries and awesome venues for live events. And now that those aren't possible right now, I actually have done a switch to doing all corporate. So continuing on with corporate, I'm adding in a totally new training division. I'm working with experienced trainer to also have a comedic and entertainment background. So I've gotten a lot of feedback from my events that training can be so boring and our events are so engaging. Well, why can't we create an engaging training platform? So I'm adding that in. And to Sarah's point about having repeat clients, well, in the entertainment business, you hope to have repeat clients, but I'm not going to book someone else's virtual holiday party that they just had in December in February. It's done. So let's try to get repeatable business. And that's how I want to approach it into next year, is repeatable business that can be more frequent, that can help more people. And the virtual environment, especially, it can be so disengaging, and it's so easy to just turn your camera off and not be a part of the training or just zone out or whatever. And it can be really boring. So let's make it more fun and interactive and valuable. So that's what I want to do into 2021, is continue staying in business. I'm very new at this, so staying in business, continuing to work with the best people like the Danielle Jeffersons of the world to help me keep straight. I am in Danielle's Fight Club, so that's going to be really helping me. She's also doing some one-on-one consulting with me because I need a lot of help. So that's going to help me stay straight into next year and on the course that I need to be on. So that's my answer.
And let's be honest, you're building out like a whole new department of
Yep.
this training arm in your business. And so we'll be doing the same thing that you did this year. We're just replicating it for training in terms of, how you're structuring and how you're organizing, and the work that you'll be doing around that. And you have the other stuff down, like the events down, like a well-oiled machine at this point. What'd you do? Like 50 events in December? I don't even know.
Let's say 50. It was not 50, but yeah, no, it was like 25. It was a lot. It was dozens of events.
Yeah. So, Lauren has gotten to the point so quickly in her business with really becoming expert in this one area. And now she's off to do more things. So that's really the point, is like, get everything down, get everything to a place where you're like, that's almost on autopilot for you. You know exactly how to do those, and you can replicate those, not just as, so we talked about earlier, like holiday parties, but anytime, team events, right, for corporations. And now we're stepping into training. So I'm so excited. Coming from a corporate background and someone who has been in corporate trainings and leadership development type things, like, your offering is going to be so much better than anything I've ever done. So yeah, awesome. All right. Thank you. Lauren Woodrick, what's up with you?
I got to piggyback on the Lauren Ansley thing real quick. I would have killed for one of Lauren's trainings when I was at Wells Fargo all those years doing all those bullshit whatever trainings. That would have been a shot in the arm of excitement and joy. So yes, I'm very excited for what you have next.
Thank you.
What's next for me is the $1 Million Roadmap that Danielle and I created. So next year, 2021, will be my third full 12-month year in business, and it's going to be a 7-figure year. And I can say that with confidence because shit, if we can get to 65 grand a month, we can get to 100, right? Like, these processes give you so much freedom to grow and scale. It's going to require hiring some more people, but now I know how to do that because Danielle taught me how to do that. So what's next is scaling out my 2 core offers, which is Slay Your Side Hustle, the business that the program that helps you start your business, and then Sales Swagger, the one that helps you grow your business to 6 figures. Blow those out, make them the highest quality programs I've ever delivered, put more people in them than have ever been in, so that there's a more robust community. Get that stuff on lock. Then we have freedom to build out other cool, untested, new blue ocean stuff like retreats, like speaking, like a podcast, like all the things I've really dreamed of doing, but I said, I don't have enough revenue or cash flow yet. That's not going to be a problem. Danielle has set me up to scale. I can't say that enough. So now there's time and freedom and energy to be like, okay, I don't know how to do a podcast. I don't know how this works. I actually will have a little bit of space to play around and put my passion over there. I don't know how to do a retreat. Danielle, how do we do this? We'll make a plan. We'll attack it. We'll see how it goes. We'll test and refine like we have been. So I'm really excited to get my current programs like just sexy as hell, just really, really well done. And then with the extra time and space, grow into new areas and play around and mess them up and see how they go. And I'm so excited that I can actually talk like this because in January of this year, I was just trying to figure out how to pay all my bills. So it's really an amazing leap. It's a quantum leap in such a short period of time. So we'll be having this panel this time next year, and we'll be talking about the $5 million roadmap. And that doesn't sound crazy to me.
I love that. I'm so excited to see next year. I can't wait. I want to reiterate, like, both Laurens are at different places in their businesses, right? But the process, and I say this to everybody about everything, is the same, right? It doesn't matter where you are. You get to a place, you stabilize what you're doing, and then you're ready to go to the next level. You're ready to do the next thing. But it doesn't matter where you are in your business. If you're just starting, if you've been in business for years, you're always looking to do that next thing and get to that next level. And Lauren Woodrick is a great example of, she had a business. She had a lot of clients. She was making money, but like, let's go more, let's go higher. And so that's where we are with her. And I'm pumped to be here with you.
Well, I should mention that I'm in the Players Club starting in January. So if you have $1 million or a half or $250,000 roadmap on your mind, come hang out with me because this is the shit we'll be doing together with Danielle in the Players Club.
Thank you. Nice plug. All right. Sarah, where are you going? You're already going. Like you got a lot going.
I'm going. Yeah. So, well, right now I'm onboarding people and training them, but I expect in the next month to be able to hand off most of the day-to-day stuff. So like I said before, I can focus on the bigger picture things that I'm really good at. So that is primarily going to be getting my CFO services out into the world. I've got a client that I'm kind of beta testing the whole process with now, but for those of you who don't understand all of the like financy stuff, the accounting and tax work is looking at where you've been, which you absolutely need to know. You need to know where you've been because if you don't, you can't effectively move forward, is my very fundamental belief about your numbers. And CFO work is going to be looking forward. So you want to do all these things, like you want to grow your business, you want to launch a new product or service, you want to hire employees, you want to sell your business, you want to do any number of things over the next year or 2 years. How do you do that from a money perspective? Like actually translating that into your P&L and making sure you're profitable. So most business owners that I work with, when they come to me, they don't pay themselves, or if they do pay themselves, it's nowhere near the amount that they should, because most business owners focus on that revenue number and they don't pay attention to the whole rest of the P&L and how much they're actually going to be able to take home at the end of the day. So that's what I'm going to focus on. And actually, like, that just is really exciting to me because I just really love to work with small business owners and actually have a really tangible impact on their lives and help them like put more money in their pockets at the end of the day. So now that I've been able to hire people and get all my stuff in order, and like I said, out of my head and like freeing up all this brain space now, I have time to work on these programs and really like get them out into the world in 2021. So that is what I'm going to be doing.
I mean, everything everybody's doing is just big shit. It's like whole new departments in your business, whole new offerings, all new people you're hiring, big money goals. It's just so exciting. First of all, thank you guys for keeping this running while I was, lounging around over here. Get yourself a team like this. Get yourself friends like that. Thank you so much for doing that. That was amazing. And I'm so grateful and honored to have been able to work with all of you and help you, especially in this year. 2020 was a lot of things to a lot of people. But for us, I think like it was such a year of growth and like Lauren Ansley said, hope. and opportunity and just like making way for better stuff. So you guys are amazing. Thank you. And thank you for doing this today. I want to, just let people ask questions. Have people been talking in the chat? I don't even know what's going on anymore. So like, this is not my thing. Who has questions for these amazing entrepreneurs? Elizabeth, just talk, girl.
Hi, okay. Hi, I'm a teacher, so I'm used to like, anyway. Lauren Woodrick, I'm really interested in scalability because I am the new owner of a college, I'm an educational consultant. So I do college consulting. And, geez, Danielle, I'm one person. And like, I'm thinking like, how am I going to serve everybody well and still be a mom and still be, a professor? And I have a lot, I have a lot going on. So, but I'm really passionate about my business. I want it to be great. And I just started in August and I'm like, how am I going to do all of this?
Yeah, I mean, some of your questions are actually for Lauren Woodrick. And so Lauren, Elizabeth and I have talked before, like she needs to, first of all, raise her damn prices. We calculated her hourly rate and I don't even want to tell you what it was because it was
$89.
So there's multiple things, Elizabeth, that, a lot of people here can help you with, but it is, for me, coming from a process perspective, you are one person, you can only do so much. And so it's, like I said before, doing more with what you're doing. So acting more efficiently, right? And then also stabilizing what you're doing so you don't have to think about it so much.
Yes.
And you can't do more until you do that. And then you can do a little bit more, but scalability is what these women have been talking about, which is, and then you got to hire somebody. Like you cannot do all of this by yourself if you want to get to, this like $1 million quantum level that Lauren Woodrick is talking about, right? You just can't, you're one person. And so I would never tell you like, come work with me and like, I'll, make you $5 million all by yourself. No, sometimes you just feasibly can't. And then there's the other pieces, the other elements, like the stuff that Lauren Woodrick has helped me with in terms of how to make your offers very potent and very valuable so that you then can have a premium price on those so that you're really putting your efforts into, those things that are bringing you back the most impact really to your business and to the people you're serving. And Lauren Woodrick, I'll let you speak a little bit more about that.
That's it. We share a mind. I was going to say potency. This is what I teach in all of my business building and sales classes. You can't just arbitrarily raise your price because you feel like it.
Yeah.
You need to actually increase the value of your service and deliver more value in less time, which is an art.
Right.
So taking a look at your offers and saying, okay, if we needed to triple the price, how much better would this thing need to be?
Mm-hmm.
What would need to be included in this thing? And it's not necessarily your time. It can be materials, it can be resources, it can be a community. There's things that you can do to increase the value of your product that don't require more of your hours, but are actually uber valuable to your people. And you can, in good faith, be like, yeah, that shit's $1,000.
Yeah.
It's a steal. It is a steal. It will save you 6 months. It will get you into the college of your dreams or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But it's all about potency and raising the value. So Danielle, yeah, great reference there.
Yeah.
Also, if I could interject something really quick, I listened to this podcast from Australia. It's really cool. It's Flying Solo. It's all about solopreneurs. And there was a lady in Australia who was selling Italian-made leather shoes on a website in Australia, like genuine Italian shoes. And she was charging like $60 for the shoes and no one was buying them. And her friends kept saying, you have to raise the price. You have to raise the price. So she just went for it. She raised the price to like $300+ and they started selling because of the perceived value. So if you get your pricing right, then exactly, you're minimizing the time that you have to spend on it and maximizing the quality. And you have less clients, which then in turn you can serve better.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Love that.
Thank you so much.
Good luck to you. Congratulations on your
Thank
business.
you. Thank
Awesome.
you. You too. All of you are just so inspirational. Thank you.
Thank you guys. All right, who else has a question? Can't see everybody on my screen. Whoops. Anybody?
I'll go ahead. Hey guys, this is Nick. I'll do a question and a comment. So this is a question to all three of you, or all four of you, Danielle included. Super inspired by the big steps that y'all made with a new baby or selling your house or whatever it was, like making the jump into what you're doing. So my question is, can you talk a little bit more about that process of getting to the edge and then deciding to take the step into it? And what was that like? And then just a comment, I've worked with Danielle for a long time in the corporate world, and she's helping me now get some stuff. I've got a design thing I'm doing and getting that off the ground. And I think the biggest thing that she can add is she just cuts through the bullshit and is like, get straight to the point, and really helps me think as a creative person, like I can be all over the map. And I just want to say she's great at doing that. So that's my comment. The question, can you talk about your experiences in getting up to the edge and then making the jump?
I can hop on this one.
Yeah.
I would have killed for Danielle during this phase. I worked on the trading floor of Wells Fargo. I had a big girl salary to replace and was terrified to quit my job and have a life coaching business. It sounded cray cray, to be honest with you. So if you can have someone like Danielle in your quarter now, do it. But Danielle, can I curse? Can I just drop an F-bomb?
Absolutely.
My rule about side hustles is they can't fuck up your life. So you have to take a measured, calculated approach. So when you're up on the edge of quitting your job, you want to have some money in the bank to land on so that you're not broke. And those first 3 months out in the wild are not like, oh my God, how am I going to pay my bills? So create a calculated exit. I call it a freedom fund. So start your side hustle, figure out how much money you need, 6 months of your current salary, whatever, to land on. I think Lauren did this in her own way as well, Lauren Ansley. And that way, when you quit your job, you're not freaking out and having to return to corporate 3 or 4 months later. You have a savings safety net. So take a risk, but don't be dumb. Make sure you have your bases covered. If you have a family, a mortgage, you have to buy yourself groceries, make sure you have that stuff covered for 4 or 6 months so you can take the leap and your business has a fighting chance. So that's why I say I wish I had Danielle. That took me 18 months. I had a baby smack in the middle of that too, which made things even crazier. It can be done in like 6, 8, 9 months if you have somebody like Danielle in your corner that's like, where are you at on your Freedom Fund roadmap? Let's do this the right way. Not like, okay, I've got $400 in my bank account. Can I quit my job? I don't know, maybe next month. You have to cover yourself, right? We're all grown-ups here.
Yeah.
Does that help, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on mute. I got 2 kids running around in the background, but yes, that's super helpful. Yeah, thank you.
So I did the jump this year, so I have thoughts too. So totally ditto the Freedom Fund, 100%. I had been planning to quit for probably 1.5 years. So basically all the money that I banked from my side hustle, I used to furnish my house, I won't lie, because my husband couldn't tell me that I wasn't allowed to spend it if I was working on top of my other job. But once I did that, then I started banking some money. So we had enough saved, so I wasn't freaking out. From my CPA perspective, I tell people, even if you have a very small business and you can't pay yourself your target salary, just get in the habit of paying yourself something every month. So even when you first start out as a side hustle, definitely put some money into a freedom fund, but I would say start paying yourself, even if it's like $100 every 2 weeks, because what I see happen is people don't get into that habit. And then what they do instead is they spend all of their money on crap that they don't need, and then they don't have anything to use to pay themselves. And then what happens is you have to dig into your freedom fund, then you run out of money and you have to go back to the corporate world. So set up that habit. It's a mindset thing. Like just set up that habit from the beginning so that when you do quit your job, you're already set up and ready to go to pay yourself. The other thing that I found really helpful was just getting out and talking to people. So I find it really easy, again, as an introvert, to sit back here and just theorize about, what people want. But the most valuable feedback that I got was from actually talking to people. So I found out people struggle to pay themselves. They struggle with profitability. They also really struggle. Sorry, my husband is playing with our baby, if you can hear him in the background. I also found out that people really struggle to find a good CPA. So I knew that there was an area, like if I just provide really good client service, that I would be able to fill that gap and get people to trust me and want to hand over all of their finances to me. So I think getting out and actually talking to people and hearing their words about what they need help with gave me the confidence to know, like, if I quit my job, I can go out and find more work.
Yeah. And I would also answer that by saying it also helps if you don't make a lot of money in your day job, because you're not having to replace a lot of money in your day job, which was my scenario. So I was able to bank what I made on the sale of my house. I'm also an impatient person. So I was like, maybe I should have a midlife crisis and quit my job and sell my house and launch this business. Okay. After I was hosting events for 3 months. And it was going really well. And I knew there was potential. And I really didn't know what it was going to look like. And I'm not a risk taker, which is hilarious. And I never wanted to own my own business. But I just got to the point where I didn't enjoy my day job and I was ready for a change. And I realized all of my colleagues at other companies were 10 years younger than me and my same salary. So I had not pushed myself. I started a nonprofit. So that was my background. I had never pushed myself to get to that point where I was making a comfortable enough salary to get too comfortable with what I was doing. So when I was dissatisfied, I was like, okay, well, I can do this myself. And that's what I did. And another thing I want to mention that Lauren Woodrick really opened my eyes on is when you're starting off, if any of you are starting off a side hustle or you're thinking about it, or maybe Elizabeth, this speaks to you, you're like, I just have been putting in so much work and it's not paying off and it's not paying off. You're probably on the runway. And like Lauren mentioned to me, it takes most of the gas in the airplane to get you off the ground. So all of this work you're putting in, you are setting yourself up to climb. And then one day it just happens and you realize you don't have to work as hard. You still work hard, but you don't have to work as hard with zero return. So the work that you're putting in, it's there. It's just not there yet. You can't see the results yet in some cases. So you have to be patient, even though you really don't want to be patient.
And then I'm going to answer that. So I have 2 answers to that. One is what tipped me was joining Lauren's program. So to continue the love fest that we have with each other, but truly it did, because it allowed me the space and the security to be like in a place where I was being supported for a number of months and not feel like I was having to, Nick, like you said, jump off a cliff. It didn't feel like that. I was learning. I was gaining confidence. I was trying things. I had people there as a safety net to do that, which brings me to my second point of you cannot sit in your room and do this by yourself. That has been like my number one biggest lesson also, which is like, you have to find people who are there to support you, people who you're there to learn from. You have to find like your people. You have to find other people who are doing similar things to you so that you have that support and you have that just someone to talk to and bounce stuff off of. And like, you just can't sit in a vacuum and do it. So those are my 2 tipping points.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. It's super helpful. Thank you, guys.
Great. We're almost at the end of time. I just have a few quick announcements, unless there are any other questions you guys have for our panelists. All right. Well, I'm not going to worry about pulling anything back up, and I don't want to mess up Zoom again. So I just wanted to let you know that I truly love to help people like our panelists and people like you guys who are at points in your businesses. It doesn't matter where you are in the life stage of your business. It's like the phase that you're at and where you're getting ready to jump off to the next thing. Like, let's get you set and let's help you do that. You can work with me in a number of ways, but I'm really excited to have 2 new ways that you can work with me next year, which is my Players Club and my Fight Club. So these are for like different, maturity levels of your business for the CEO. So the Players Club, as Lauren mentioned that she is in that next year, that's for someone who's had their business for a few years. You're kind of like a pro CEO. So you are ready to hit that $1 million roadmap. And that's what we're going to do. It's a 6-month program and it's individual coaching with me. And basically I'm your COO. it's like this for all of my programs, right? And generally I call myself your COO if I work with you. And which means I tell you a lot of what to do. So, and then my Fight Club is for kind of first time CEOs where you're still building your business foundations. You are, as Lauren said, like you're putting in the gas in the plane and you are just about to take off on that runway. Let's do it in a way that's not going to kill you. This is also a 6-month program and I'm your COO. And you'll get that community too, where you're working with other CEOs that are experiencing the same things and you need that support, which is, I found to be, like I said, one of the most valuable things that I received from Lauren Woodrick's programs. So that being said, I'm going to send out the document that I was sharing that I'm not going to mess with again to everybody. It has information in there. It has how you can contact me, how you can connect with me on social. If you just want to, follow along and get resources, I send out a ton of things all the time. You can get on my email list, and I would just love to, talk to everyone and hear how your business is going, where you are, and, where you think you're ready to go. So go punch 2021 in the face. If they can do it in 2020, you can certainly do it in 2021. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
guys so much.
you.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye,
great
everybody.
day.
Take care.